Hey, everybody. Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie. Ready for another amazing day. We've got Jason Cooper on. It is going to be so awesome. Please join us, share it, and tag all your friends. Here we go. Do you want to know how amazing people connect? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie.
Thanks for connecting. And if you like what you hear, please share.
Special thank you to our sponsors of Marketing with Russ, Grime Be Gone Power Washing, Linkit Media Group, and Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer. For more information on Grime Be Gone Power Washing and their amazing power washing services, go to grimebegone.org. And for more information on Linkit Media Group and their media services and how they can get your business visible, go to linkitmediagroup.com. And finally, for Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer and more information on how they support those going through cancer, go to perspectivesoncancer.com. Music by Connor Hedge and Protestant, used with permission. Hey, welcome everybody to Marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie. Ready for another amazing day. I am so excited. Today, my good friend Jason Cooper is with me, and it's always a blessing when Jason is here. So we're going to dive into that here in just a moment, but just wanted to remind you, I'm so thankful for all of you being here today, for this community, for just showing up and supporting each other. And, I want to tell you that today it's so important that you engage as we move along. Share this with people to begin with. Let people know that it's going on because, people get busy. It's a Thursday. People got lots going on in the morning. So just remind them, hey, everybody, Marketing with Russ is on. Jason Cooper is going to be here. It's going to be amazing. You do not want to miss it. So thank you so much for doing that. If you're new, welcome. So glad to have you part of our community. We are all about how amazing people connect. That's right. I'm a firm believer that connection and community building is the foundation for any good marketing plan, any good business. And I'm telling you, when you get out there and connect with people, amazing things happen. That's what happened when Jason and I connected a long time ago. We've become great friends and just been able to support each other. And you learn from people. Every time I have Jason on, I learn new things, all the great stuff that he's doing. So today I want to encourage you to let people know because there's going to be a lot of great value today. So tag your friends, get them out there, let them know what's going on. So also would love for you to join our YouTube community. And first of all, let's see. Oh, I have to back up. Connect with me at russhedge.com. There you go. I got ahead of myself. I want you to connect with me, not just connect with everybody else. Go to russhedge.com for all my connection links. And I would love to connect with you. You can connect with me through social media, my email, my phone number. You can even schedule time directly on my calendar. I would love for you to do that and Zoom with me. That'd be so great. Now we're going to talk about YouTube. There we go. Join our YouTube community by going to marketingwithruss.live. That's right. It's simple. If you know my name, you know my website. If you know the name of the show, you know the name of the address to get to YouTube. You can go there and subscribe right now. Open a separate tab, subscribe today. You will be blessed. Hundreds and thousands of episodes on there. It's amazing the number of people that you can gain value from and connect from, like Jason. And you're going to want to do that. So go to marketingwithruss.live today and subscribe. We're really growing. And you also can have a little fun if you check out YouTube Shorts. You'll find out that my animals are way more popular than I am. So love that. Have so much fun. And just as I said before, please share this and tag your friends. I'd appreciate that so much. All right. Last but not least, don't forget, you get a copy of Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, or my other anthology collaborative books that are #1 on Amazon, international bestsellers. Also coming out this fall is my latest book, and it's going to be great. You're going to want to look for that. Okay, so I'm very excited. Every Monday and Thursday, we also do a marketing tip of the day, and I'm going to do that today. It's a little bit of just uplifting and wisdom and helpfulness to get your day started on the right track. You know, sometimes we overlook some simple truths, and I'm just going to help you with one of those today that I think will be very, very helpful for your Thursday. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. And by the way, this gets put out on YouTube Shorts and on all social media separately as a marketing tip only, so you can share this with your friends as well. And I would love for you to do that. Okay, here we go. This is your marketing tip of the day. Stay in your lane. That's right. Stay in your lane. You know, God created you with purpose, a specific purpose, with specific talents. And when you get too far outside of your lane, you get a little scattered and things get a little mixed up. You know, this whole multitasking thing is not real. You cannot multitask. You can only focus on one thing at a time. And if you focus on where your talents, abilities, and purpose is, where your passions lie, so many more amazing things are going to happen. When you stay in your lane, you can do the things that you were created to do and help other people, whether that's marketing or business financing, or if you're in a nonprofit helping others raise money, whatever that might be. Stay in your giftings, and I'm telling you, great things will happen. Then create a great community and surround yourself with people that help you in the areas you're weak. And that's how you build a great business. So today, stay in your lane, and that is your marketing tip of the day. All right, there we go. So we got that done. We're ready to go. And now it's time to get Mr. Jason Cooper in the room and hear his amazing wisdom. Morning, Jason.
Hello. How are you doing?
I am so good. Always great when you're here, Jason.
I always enjoy these conversations. And
Yeah,
today
I
I'm
do
going
too.
to start to think of something slightly different for our conversation.
Well, I am just glad that you're here, and I'm going to just back up real quickly and start with the basics. For those of you that don't know you, we're going to start with who is Jason and what in the world are you up to? Give everybody a little background.
Oh, a little bit of a background. Living in Dublin, Ireland, been over here for 20 something odd years. The way I like to think and do things now in my life is to give forward. And what I mean by that is helping people think in a slightly different way, more productive way in how I teach people in sales or leadership or some soft skills. But what I want them to do is help them to help their clients to be better at what they do and listen a little bit more with empathy and thinking about them as opposed to thinking about what's going on in our heads at that particular time. Use our skills, use our area of presence and understanding. Like I've been in this area, co-founded 2 startups, lived in Ireland, worked across the globe in various operations with various companies doing this type of thing, which I love to do.
Well,
And
I love. Oh, go ahead.
before you go ahead, that tool and that tip that you just said is something that I do when I work with clients, and to stay in your lane. But it's when you focus, and there's a lot of scientific research by this, is when we start to think of, you know, when we have multiple tabs open, and we all do, and I probably have it on my screen, is our brain gets cluttered with too much distractions and we cannot focus on one thing at a time. So when we start to focus on a single task, we do that task so much better. And a simple thing that I do is I go get people to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and then I get people to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I get them to do, and I time this, and I get them all to write it down. Then I get someone to do A1, B2, C3, D4, and so on and so forth. And then I time the second reaction. And you know what? The first is always quicker, because what you tend to do is you write A, B, C, D, F, G, and you're doing that with focus, and then you do the letters. But when you do multiple things, the brain gets cluttered. That's why it's very difficult to go shopping with my wife when she goes shopping, because she's looking at too many different things at the same time, and the brain gets cluttered and confused. So if you're looking at strategic focus, that's what you need to do.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. In fact, that is the whole idea of staying in your lane, as being focused on, and especially being focused on your purpose or passion in life and what you are really designed to do. And I think that when people not only get all scattered with a bunch of things, but number two, try to get too far outside of what they really are supposed to be doing, it clutters things even more, and they lose focus even more. So you talk about productivity, Jason. This all relates back to productivity, because I am a true believer that when you stay focused and you are a person that loves what you do and are really passionate about it, you're going to always be more productive, right?
Absolutely. And as being independent consultants, but also when you're working in an organization, if you're given too many tasks at the same time and you don't know what to do first, obviously do the Stephen Covey matrix and go important, not important, and so on and so forth, but then structure the stuff. And I always like to do the Pomodoro technique. So the Pomodoro technique is focus 25 minutes on a particular task, and that's it, and time it. You can use lots of clever apps out there. And after 25 minutes, you just take a little break, because our brain cannot focus for more than pretty much 45 minutes at a time. Other than that, your brain starts to wander and it starts to look elsewhere for other things to do. But giving yourself that little bit of break before you get back to it and focus on the task at hand. So whether it is picking up the phone and speaking to people for 25 minutes, take a break, and then go back into it, and then go back into it. So whatever that task might be, have that strategic goal in hand to make sure that you get to that thing, and then review it at the end of it and see how well you've done. Absolutely guarantee you, when you do use that, you will notice so much of a difference. And I do myself. I use it all the time. And I notice when I don't use it, I notice how less productive I am than when I am using a Pomodoro technique like this.
Yeah. One thing that I noticed too, because we all do this, when we all get too much in our brain and get too much going on and aren't focusing in like you're talking about, sometimes we just need to take a deep breath and come back to really the priorities and what's important. So a good example of that is my amazing teammate and assistant here, Ever, who's in the background doing all the hard work.
Yeah.
She and I meet every Monday, and we're talking about what's going on for the week. And this last Monday, I just laid out like way too much stuff for her. And I could realize I just had all these thoughts, and I realized, man, I've given way too many things. So I dropped back, and hopefully I did what I thought I did. And that was I prioritized the top 3 items that I thought we really need to focus on. I said, the rest of the stuff I want to do, but we don't need to do it all right now. I just want to get things going. But these are 1, 2, and 3, what I really want to get moving. And then it gave her more direction, and she jumped right in and started working on those items. And so a lot of times I think we can listen to what you said by at first looking at what we did and think, oops, man, I'm just really scattered, and time to focus a little bit, right? And get those priorities straight.
And it probably goes down to the principle is when you're working with a client specifically, and the thing that I was going to suggest, and probably something that I did many moons ago, is when I learned how to do a story or storytelling. And I was out with a client and I was getting overexcited about the story that I wanted to tell and the narrative, but I got so involved in the story, I wasn't really paying too much of attention to the client, because I thought the story and the narrative that I was saying was compelling. And I just all these tools and strategies to do that. But to actually step back is to simplify it and make it into analogy or metaphor or something around that's going to resonate very, very quickly. So the advice forward and how our brain works, it loves a story, and it really does. But if you go over it and you just create a TEDx talk as an example, you're going into it in too much detail. There is time and place for a TEDx talk when you're doing a presentation or when you're doing something else, then people can actually resonate with you. But when you actually are working with a client, short, sharp antidotes or a short, sharp story that will resonate with them very quickly. When we start to think about how our brains work and how our brains are wired and fired together, we need to connect with people very quickly. And the limbic system, or on how we think, is the emotional part of our brain. So we need to make sure that we back it up and connect with people straight away to build that trust and that connection first.
Right.
I know
right.
you know this as well.
Oh, yeah. And stories are so important. You know, when I'm speaking to a group, if you really want to get points across and get people to really be with you, tell stories that draw them in. So it's the same thing in anything you're doing with your marketing, even with your digital marketing. You got to be telling a story all the time and get people to relate to what you're talking about, because if they don't feel any connection or any relation, they aren't going to really tune in. They're not going to engage, and they're not going to be part of what you want them to be. So the whole important part of marketing and getting things out there and visibility is to relate to people. So I love the story thing, and you do that so well. So, okay, let's back up to some basic things,
Okay.
Jason. It's been a while since we talked about this. So I'm having some struggles with my business. I call Jason. How are you going to help me? Where are you going to start with? I'm a complete distracted, clustered, overwhelmed mess, right? And you're trying to focus me. What are you going to do?
Well, the first things first is to engage with you emotionally and find out how you are. What's been going on in your life so far? Where are you? And have that initial conversation as to build rapport with you, just to connect with you on that emotional. What I want to find out for you, Russ, is to find out what the challenges actually you're been facing. Number one thing that I would always do is ask, Russ, can I record this on my note taker? That's revolutionized my business completely, because what it's doing, it's allowing me to listen afterwards, to find out what the actual main challenges are, because we listen all the time. We talk in about 200 words per minute, but we think in our heads to about 600 to 800 words. We don't get it all in because we're too busy chatting to ourselves. So I want to find out, Russ, what is the main things that are going right for you right now? What are the things going well for you? What are you doing well at the moment? And what I'd like to find out is, Russ, is what can you do slightly better? What is it that's stopping you from doing your marketing, doing something else? But I really need to work with you as a consultant, not telling you anything, because I want to ask you a lot of questions here. And what I want to do is I want to do that Pareto principle. Is I want to be asking you, I want to be talking 20% of the time, listening 80% of the time,
right?
You talking 80% of the time, and me writing down details about it. But it's to link on to where the main juicy points are, where you are really, really not focused and your brain is going all over the place, and you can't be strategic about where you want to be going and to find your own success. So some things that you could do is, how do you feel doing what you're doing? Do you feel good, or do you feel not so good, or is there something going on? Maybe how maybe you need to connect more emotionally or connect better with the clients, or if it is the clients that you're doing, or if it is, as you said, you were talking with your VR earlier and your brain was just going over the place, and until you actually realize, hang on a minute, I need to chunk it right down to make her understand what she needs to do first, not the whole thing. So
Right.
let's have a look at that, Russ, and let's look at what was going on. What could you do better? Give yourself feed forward. If you were to do that again next time, because I'm sure we all will do that next time, how can you maybe do that slightly better for yourself, Russ?
Right. Yeah. Well, let me just jump in there and say real quick, I completely agree with that, because it's something that I need to work on constantly, is good, positive self-evaluation. So people need to realize that it's good to look at what you did and try to be better, like you said. It's not good to look at what you did and beat yourself up and tell you how lousy you are. By the way, self-talk is really important in life in two ways. When you positively self-talk to yourself, you build yourself up, not just worrying about what you're saying to others. You got to be worried about what you're saying to yourself.
Yeah.
If you're beating yourself up and knocking yourself down because you made mistakes or whatever, that's going to be a lifelong problem, because we're always going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
But when you look at what you did and think, yeah, I could have done a little better there, this would have worked better there, then you become better at what you do. That's a positive self-evaluation instead of ripping yourself apart. And I think we need to look at that. And that's like I realized that with Ever, and she probably thinks this more often than even I catch it. And that is, I dump too much stuff out there. So it's good to just it's okay to step back and reframe that. And that helps to clarify it. It's like when I talk, Jason, you start and you kind of give people a few points, what you're going to talk about, and you get out there and you're talking. But then at the end, you kind of review what you said, just to remind them what you said. That clarity helps people retain what you're saying, right? And so that's an important thing.
Something else, which is a really good point. It just suggests that I'm helping you, and you are having some challenges in a certain area, and just use this as an example. So as a suggestion, if I was coaching you, or we were in a workshop environment as an example, and I was working with some people. So the daily habits is just so very important for us to do, like the focus, exactly the same as the. So to build a little bit more of how we can build a better habit in terms of how we're working with ourselves. So the first thing to do after the call, maybe the call that you have with the VR, is to go, well, I want to be a little bit self-aware, and that comes with experience. But how can I be a little bit better about what I've done? How can I give myself some positive feedback here, and also some challenging feedback to say, look, what you did probably didn't hit as well as it could have done. So what could I do better? So the emotion and our brains learn through reflection. So journaling is a really good way of doing it. So if you're looking at a call that you've done or a pitch that you've done, and then you sit in the car afterwards to go, rather than beating yourself up, because our brain will wire and fire us to self-sabotage, and it does by the fight, flight, or freeze mechanism, it will just kick us in. So let's pause for a second. Let's take a deep breath and go. And again, let's look at what I've suggested earlier. So the practical advice for what actually had happened. What did I feel during the call? What did the client need emotionally from us? What will I do slightly differently next time? So feed forward. which is a really good principle to have. Because when you feed back, you're living in the past. I don't want to be
Right.
living in the past.
Right.
I like to think about the good times of what we had in the past and reflect and learn from it. But then you come back to the present and then you stick yourself in the future about what can we impact next time. And that's a really good feel-good factor. And then once you write it down and you journal it, I've got a big journal down here. And I have a daily journal that I write in. You probably can't see it, but this is what I use. And I've been using this for about 5 years. And it's really helped. And I notice when I don't use it, there's a morning journal and an evening journal and during the day journal. And then it marks me as well. So that's what I use. I find that works really good for my brain. And it helps me to reflect and it helps me to impact. So that advice that I've just given now is so essential for growth, to learn and make sure that our brain stays a little bit more constructive about what we give. And it's amazing how much we learn. We know what we do when we read a book. We get stimulated or we listen to a really good podcast. I listened to a wonderful podcast this week and I loved it. It was 2.5 hours long and I just zapped through the whole lot and I learned a lot from it and I felt quite stimulated from it. Exactly the same as journaling. I would suggest for everyone that actually is listening now to this, pen to paper. Don't use any of these digital tools because that is a little bit out there. You're not connecting with the pen. There's something that goes on with what we do when we actually use pen to paper. All of these AI tools and all that, fantastic and incredible. And I use them all the time and I have been using them for a while. But the purpose of this is connection. So when we start to think about how we sell well to the brain, but we speak to the heart, something I've written down. Sales is a human to human connection, not a features to the function. It's not about clever, it's about clarity. So once we have clarity in that human connection, then what we have is empathy, we have trust, and we have that step going forward where we can really resonate. And then we can use all our listening skills and all that. But we, again, listening with the eyes is so essential.
Oh, it is. In fact, you want people to know by your eyes and your face that you are listening to them. And I had a friend growing up that had the best natural skills at that. He looked so excited by everything that I said in his eyes and his face. I was more excited about what I said because he was so excited, right? and so that really communicates to those that you're talking to, whether you're here on the screen or whether you are face to face, you can still do that. And listening is so important, everybody. I want you to key in on that. And also building that know, like, and trust factor. You're talking about the trust. It is so important, everyone. So, okay, there's so many gold nuggets there, so much great information. But Jason, we got to wrap it up. I need to hear.
Oh no, again.
I know it. I need to hear what your gold nugget of the day is, what you really want people to remember from today, and then remind everybody how they get in touch with you.
Okay, so when we start taking to the point of this, the best salespeople, the best sales managers, the sales leaders or leadership, they don't impress, they connect. People forget your pitch, they remember how you made them feel.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness, for sure. And now people are going to want more of this, Jason. So besides you being on the show again in the future, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, if you look down below, it's my LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn at the moment, so just do a quick search for me at Jason Cooper. You'll see my beautiful face on there. And also you can see, I have to say that, also jcooper@jasoncooper.io. You can connect on my email there. Best way is to utilize LinkedIn. My website is jasoncooper.io as well, but LinkedIn is my favorite.
All right. Well, you and me both. I love that too. And Jason, I'm telling you, amazing. You always have so much great information. And I love the journaling information too that you gave, because I have found over the last many years, I journal and it really helps me focus on life. It helps me get focused in the morning. And a lot of times it helps me get focused on a real basic level of my life so
Yeah.
that the rest of my day has more clarity. And so,
Yeah, absolutely.
anyway, we will talk about that next time, because here we're going to get you back on again because you have so
I've
much
got
wisdom.
5 or 6 points and only did 1 or 2 of them, but that's fine.
We're going to do that again. We're going to get you back in, I think, in June here. We'll talk right after. But all right, listen, I'm going to say goodbye, but hang tight in the green room. We'll talk and reschedule for the next show. And thanks so much, Jason. Really appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it as well. Appreciate you, Russ.
All right, everybody, there we go. My amazing friend, and so much wisdom. I mean, I just listen to Jason and I think, man, I learn every moment. And that is how we should do. Listen to learn. Don't always speak and that kind of is interfering and overwhelming at times if you overdo it. For those of us that are speakers that talk too much, which I am one of those, we have to work on that constantly. It's a daily task to be better. So anyway, I'm so blessed for everybody who's here today and so blessed for all of this community. Please continue to share this out. If you're watching on replay, please put hashtag Team Replay. And if you enjoyed all this great information from Jason and a smile or two for me, then please share this with your friends and let them watch on replay. If you missed and the time's gone by, don't forget LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Anytime you can watch it. Facebook now only stays 30 days, but YouTube and LinkedIn is forever. Also, you can go to my YouTube page and then you can subscribe and get all the great content that we've had on here. And I told you how to do that before, but if you know the name of the show, you know how to get there. Marketingwithruss.live will get you there. Also, please do not forget to connect with me at russedge.com. I would love to connect with you. And it's just been such a blessing today. We've got Jason's LinkedIn also ticking along the bottom. And so make sure that you connect with him today. All of the information in the show notes and the comments is clickable. So you can click on it and go directly to him. You don't even have to remember it. So thankful that you're all here today. Remember, we'll be back Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific, for more viewing and listening pleasure. Oh, that's right. I forgot to tell you, we do convert to audio podcast as well. If you don't have time to view, you can listen while you're getting ready for work, while you're driving, while you're jogging, whatever you like to do. Every Monday and Thursday, we're here live, though, at 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time for your listening and viewing pleasure. I'm so thankful for each one of you. Thankful for Jason being with us today. And until next time, have a blessed week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of Marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie. Be sure to subscribe in your favorite podcast app so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an amazing day.